Good evening, everybody. My name's Dave Dixon. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Bath and North East Somerset Council. It's 2 minutes past 6 now, so I think we will start the meeting. The meeting tonight will be recorded and it will go onto the Council's YouTube page. So if you don't want any of your video to be shown on that, then please at this point disable your camera. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to you all and to thank you all for joining us this evening for the first meeting of the Bath Area Forum. Now, unfortunately, we're unable to be joined this evening by Nicolette Boter, who is the chair of the Bath Area Forum, who cannot be with us this evening for personal reasons. But however, we're pleased that we can welcome Cllr Dine Romero, who is the Cabinet Member for Children, Young People, Communities and Culture, who will chair the meeting on Nicolette's behalf. Thank you, Cllr Dine Romero.
Thank you very much, Dave, and welcome to everybody. So the lives of young people, as I think we were all too well aware, have been significantly impacted by the pandemic. Their schooling has been disrupted. They've been cut off from their friends. Some may have lost their jobs, and many say it has affected their mental and emotional health. Fortunately, in Bath and North East Somerset, we have a range of wonderful services which provide counselling, support and activities for young people. During this evening's forum, we will be able to find out more about their work and the difference they're making to young people's lives. So tonight we're going to hear from Youthconnect South West, Boys in Mind, Bath Rugby Foundation and Project 28. It may also be of interest to you to remember that last year we had a couple of webinars which focused specifically on young people's mental health, and these are also going to be available on our YouTube channel. So I'd now like to invite Sam Plummer, who is the Senior Operations Manager for Youthconnect South West, to present. Over to you, Sam.
Hello, apologise for my grainy appearance. My camera is not particularly great. So I'm Sam Plummer. Youthconnect is a service that used to be the council's youth service and connection services. It's now an independent charity. We provide a range of services to young people, from targeted support, which is support for individuals who might have an issue below the social care threshold, employability work for those that are not in education, training or employment, alternative education provision that we do at Bath College for those that couldn't get into a normal college course, and youth work. And really, youth work is why I'm here to talk today. We've prepared a little video for you that Mark's going to be able to play in a second, and I think that we were quite lucky really to work with Dave and the previous Bath City forum. I've got the precise name for it, and they actually allowed us to use some SIL money to deliver this work. Mark, do you want to play the video?
We are in Mulberry Park right now, which is in the middle of Fox Hill and Coombe Down area in Bath. We use a multi-sports court in the school in Mulberry Park, and we use the Hub, which is a community cafe that's in Mulberry Park Hub as well. So yeah, it's a great space to work in with some really treasured teenagers here, and we do a lot of activities to keep them busy, healthy, active, moving and connected to each other as a friendship group and as a society.
Well, it's actually like 2 days kind of. So in here, like we did before, we did like today we did a piñata, and mainly we just do arts and crafts and that. I mean, there's an Xbox here, we can play on that as well. Also, when we do outside, which is tomorrow, which is Wednesday, we like do football, and it's like outside, just right outside of the hub. So it's a nice way to get out, start moving around and that.
Well, sometimes we cook pancakes. and then sometimes we're like decorating cookies or something. Just something to do, because I wasn't actually in a youth club, or a good youth club in Fox Hill, like near where I live. And this is like a new area, so.
We talk to them about school, and we do a lot of work around youth issues, so talking about online relationships, being safe, drugs and alcohol and sexual health, and keeping active and staying healthy, and nutrition and bullying, and like a whole range of things. And we teach them how to do different things that they might not learn. So really recently we built a piñata together, and we got to smash that yesterday, which was really exciting. And we're going to move into doing some eco-friendly crafts. So I've got some used tea bags to make into badges, and yeah, we do so much with them. We have sports out here in the courts, so we have a football coach sometimes, and we have lots of like different balls for them to play with, and we have a great time together.
My brother comes there, most of his friends were there, but I met them properly here, so I have made some friends here as well.
My name is Smackfell, and I'm the youth work team leader for the Bath area. I'm also the lead youth worker for Southside Youth Hub. Southside Youth Hub operates twice a week on a Monday and a Wednesday night from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. and it's called an open access session, which is for young people usually between the ages of 11 and 19.
Southside's a place that we come into, and like the staff here are like really good, and like we get along with them really well, and I trust them all so much, and like I feel like I can share all my problems with them, and I feel like it's safe with them, and it's just like they're genuine people, and they're nice people. Like they always like give us something to do, they always look out for us, they keep us out of trouble, like they'll put us before themselves, and like that's just a really nice thing for us to feel like we feel safe around them, and I feel safe here. Like whenever I come down here, I just feel safe.
So what's really important, I think, when you operate a youth centre in a community like Whiteway, is that the workers build relationships, not only with the young people, but also with the parents and their families. One of the ways I've done it, which is really good about Southside Youth Hub, is I've built the relationships with the parents because they actually use the community cafe. So it's really important, especially I think sometimes with young people that display antisocial behaviour. We don't want to stop them from coming. What we want them to do is to engage. So it's really good actually to have the parents on board with you. I think having a presence in the community, actually knowing the families, actually knowing other professionals in the area, knowing the community, what's about, you know, sort of the parks. We have a good relationship with Bath City Farm. I think it's really important to our work.
We normally play football. We can do table tennis. Snooker. There's also activities which they put on for us, where we can like make things.
Like the fact that we like being here.
Yeah, like we just enjoy like the things they do. Like they always have something for us. They ask us what we want to do. Like
it's always something different.
Yeah, it's, like always. And like I feel like in the summer when they bring people like Project 28, and then we have that singer come in, like it's just more fun. Like we get arts and crafts, we get loads of entertainment out of it. So we always come down.
The educational stuff they do is like they always have like leaflets that have like word searches for us. they'll have like Project 28, and they have like just people coming to talk to us about like safety and everything.
A safe space in the youth club is really important, and I think you'll see that in the video. Young people want to come along to a space where they can just relax and have no fear, basically, of perhaps being bullied or being intimidated while they're at the sessions. So we do that basically by us as staff. If we see any bullying behaviour or any behaviour that we think affects other young people, we always challenge it. Young people also know that if we don't see it, they can come along and talk to us confidentially.
This is where I can meet like most of my friends, and it's a way to get like away from my family.
Because it's fun, it's like a safe place to be in. Like in the winter it gets like really cold and like you're somewhere inside, being able to have fun with all your friends.
If we didn't offer positive activities, one of the sort of feedback that we've had from young people is they would have nothing to do. So they would either be isolated and actually stay at home, or they would be on the streets and possibly up to antisocial behaviour and violence. So it's really important that we provide the sessions every week to engage them in activities that they actually enjoy doing.
I think we'll be out on the streets being menaces.
I'm probably drunk.
Yeah, she'll probably be drunk.
Yeah, or in my house just bored, doing nothing, to be honest.
Sat in the house full of loads of kids. And just being bored out of my mind and stressed. Like you can come here and just be yourself.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of a stress relief, isn't it?
Like no one's going to judge you here.
So my name's Smackfell and I'm the youth work team leader for the Bath area. Today we're out on what is known as the Detached session in Bath city centre. Detached work is where we go out into to local hotspot areas like the Bath city centre to basically provide support to young people on the streets. In terms of the work, sometimes we don't know the young people, so we have to work really hard to build relationships with them, and sometimes it's young people that we know. The work is unpredictable, we never know what we're going to find every time we come out, but what I do know is that the work's really successful because Bath City Centre, round about, sort of the times that we go out and on the evening, is always full of young people. So we offer all kinds of support, and that could be basically advice and information that they might want about our services. We might try to basically try and get them into our open access sessions, or we might even try to signpost them to other agencies like Project 28. So the aim of the detached work that we go out and do every week is, the aim is to build relationships with young people. So we walk around, obviously as staff we're aware of certain areas where we know that young people congregate. So very casually we go over, we introduce ourselves and who we're from, even showing our ID cards if necessary. But the real aim of it really is to build relationships with the young people so they get to know us, they know who we are. One of the good things is that we wear these coats which identify us as youth workers, and usually what happens is as we walk along, young people usually find us before we find them, so it can be really positive.
Hopefully that played all right with you, but I think that gives a real good flavour of the sort of work that we're doing in terms of the open access work we're doing in Bath. The Fox Hill project there, we're calling it Fox Hill, but it's taking place in Mulberry Park. We really plan to try and involve people from Fox Hill, Mulberry Park and Cllr Dine. So we've placed it right in the middle at the new provision. And I think although the numbers are slowly building, it is definitely showing that it's got real potential. And actually, the majority of young people that are coming are Fox Hill young people as well. And it was one of the aims really to make sure that that community was able to access Mulberry Park. So we've been really pleased with that bit. South side, right in the middle of Whiteway. I think it's again an area where we want to make sure there's enough provision and the right provision, and certainly I think we're offering a good quality of provisions to young people. And as you heard from the young people on the video, they feel safe there, and it is providing them with opportunities that are more positive than what they might have been doing otherwise. It'll come as no surprise that in the video we mentioned lots of other agencies. Project 28 got mentioned about 3 times. You know, we do work with lots of other people. Bath Rugby are here tonight as well. We do lots of things with them, and I think that's one of the really good things about our locality, actually, how well the agencies work and we young people work together. I haven't got much more in terms of a presentation, actually, so apologies for that. I'm hoping that the video gives you a real good sort of sense of what we're doing. Has anyone got any questions?
Can I ask people then, if they do have questions, if they put their hands up, if you know how to do that on your screens, and then I can call you in order. But while we wait for people to do that, Sam, can I say thank you? I mean, I think that was really insightful into the work that you do. Obviously, it's lovely to see the space at Mulberry Park and Southside being fully used once again. So you know, so that was great. And you know, just seeing and hearing about the range of activities, but also hearing from the young people as well about how much it means to them. I think, you know, it brings it all to life. So it's not just, you know, those cold hard numbers that I guess certainly as a counsellor you often are faced with. So I'm just having a quick check to see if I've got some questions, and I knew that Councillor Joel Hurst would not let me down. So Joel, would you like to ask your question, please?
Yeah, no, thank you, Sam, and the team for that presentation. That's really helpful. So I'm the ward councillor for Odd Down, and Odd Down sort of falls between the stalls of those 2 sites that you showcased today, and we do have at times challenges around engagement with our youth, and we've got a facility that we probably are underutilising, which Odd Down Community Association manage. And I was wondering whether there's more opportunities to kind of link what's going on those other 2 sites on the south of Bath with trying to do something in Odd Down as well.
I've spent a fair bit of time in Odd Down over the last year and a half, particularly up at the new estate behind St Gregory's. We've had a bit of a time up there. So we, during various periods, we send up the outreach team, usually the outreach team that we do in partnership with Project 28 because of some of the particular behaviours going on up there. We've been liaising with parks up to fairly recently about some of that. We've actually reached out to a couple of community organisations in Odd Down about whether Youthconnect could provide some services actually within Odd Down. And I think it is an area which is quite interesting in that young people, well, I think it's going to come no surprise that young people are quite transient in Bath, and there are key areas that sort of marry up with each other. So Odd Down young people regularly do use the Fox Hill area. Certainly from Park's experience, the shelter that was in the park in Fox Hill was a particular draw, and that was one of the conversations I was having with quite a lot of lads from Odd Down. I think some of the facilities in Odd Down in that new estate they'd quite like to see improved. Like I know football goals is one thing, but there are some particular challenges to some of to doing that, because the park area that they'd like to use is a historical area. I think generally there has been a few attempts at running provision in Odd Down, particularly BAP were running some provision out of their centre. Is that the centre you're referring to, Joel?
Yeah, the one on the Odin's Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's currently owned by operated by BAP, and I know that they were working with Dave Joyce over at Bath Rugby, Bath Youth for Christ. I don't know whether that provision started to sort of like taper off, and I don't know if it's completely stopped or not. I think we would like eventually to go back to what we used to have back when we were originally the youth service, and that was provision at every major area. But the reality is the funding. We're very lucky to have this funding to run this sort of work. This work is open access, as in anybody who wants to get involved can. There's not limited by whether you've got a particular need or a particular characteristic, which a lot of work can be these days. Very happy to have a chat with you, Joe, as the Ward Councillor, to see if there's something that we can do. I know that on my hit list, it would be an area that I would want to see a more permanent provision in, whether that is a detached session, which is slightly cheaper, quicker. And you've got some great, different parts of Odd Dine, you've got some really great facilities, especially over where like Wheels for All and that is. That's a lovely site. We've actually got a mobile bus that we could park out there, for example, and do some work out there. But it all comes down to funding. And I think with this funding batch that, you know, we work really closely with Dave to get is only a 3-year funding. And I think what's worth mentioning is how Youthconnect have been doing this in the other areas, down in Radstock, Porton, Midsummer Norton now. We're actually working with the parish councils there, and a lot of them are using their precepts to fund this work. And obviously that is a bit of a catch when it comes to Bath, really. I think what we've tried to do at Youthconnect is provide a way of having a sustainable youth service, and that's what working with the parishes does, because they take the choice and make that funding commitment, whereas the grant way of doing it is quite tricky. But that's not to say we couldn't find a particular grant, and I do think Odd Dine's definitely got enough young people and enough need to warrant it. So feel free to send me an email, Joel, and I'll come up and see you, have a coffee.
Thank you, Sam, and I'm sure Joel will really appreciate your offer. So I'm just having a quick look to see if there's any further questions that have come in. So I'll also double check in the chat as well. Well, I think, Sam, you've managed to explain the work you do so fulsomely that there is no further questions for you. But obviously, if people want to contact you, you know, if they spot a particular need, or if they perhaps they want to give you some funding, perhaps, then your details will be circulated following this forum, and also will be available on the YouTube channel. You know, with the copy of this event as well. So thank you, Sam, and thank you to all of your team, and also a particular thank you to the young people who took part in your video as well. Thank you. Okay, now I would like to welcome Caryl.Thomas, who is the Programme Development Manager at Bath Rugby Foundation. So, welcome to Caryl.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for this opportunity. I'm just going to share my screen for a bit of a presentation. Okay, hi, I'm Caryl from Bath Rugby Foundation. We are the charity arm of Bath Rugby Club, and we have been established since 2003, when Johnny Wilkinson kicked that winning World Cup goal 18 years ago. And we, over the years, we've been working in primary schools, secondary schools, youth clubs, as Sam's already said, working in partnership across community sites and things like that. And we're passionate about using sport as kind of the engagement tool to build confidence and life skills in young people across Bath and North East Somerset. And being a long established charity and kind of working in partnership, it's all about the long-term impact in being able to build those relationships across all our work. The way that we go about it is we've kind of got three kind of strands, I suppose, to our work. That's around confidence building. Confidence building, and that's about the engagement and going in on an even level with the young people. Then as you've kind of built relationships with young people, we develop that life skills, and that can be anything through leadership, through communication, into qualifications of English and maths. And then the next stage is kind of the hand-holding or the support to be able to transfer those skills into everyday life, whether that's work, training, college, school, home life, or extra kind of curricular activities, being able to transfer those kind of confidence and those skills into the next setting. We focus on doing that through key areas around kind of mental health. And I just wanted to explain a few of our programs and what we've been up to the last few years in being able to engage with young people. So the first one is Your Mind Matters, and we do that around primary schools with a 6-week program, and it's about learning about coping strategies or kind of behavior and emotional strategies to be able to thrive in a school setting and in that social situations. We also kind of use the key messages of the 5 steps to well-being, and we've partnered with Meditation Rocks on that around some kind of yoga and meditation skills, and the kids do fantastic sitting still, taking the time and breathing exercises, and that's funded through Healthy Hearts Foundation. We deliver that across primary schools across Bath and North East Somerset, and it's a really kind of starting point in building those relationships that then continue through the years. Another area we work in is working with young people with special educational needs through our High Five program. And this is a fantastic opportunity for young people to kind of take that step into sports and into social situations that are kind of managed and facilitated by staff for young people with additional needs. And we've got an array of things. We're not just a rugby club, so we work sport as kind of the engagement tool, but Sam alluded to that there's a range of kind of different activities that we can kind of use. So we've got a golf club for young people, we've got a rugby club and 3 mixed ability teams in the area, dance and social, so that children can kind of learn those independent skills in coffee shops and transport. And really excitedly, we've partnered with kind of local community clubs like Salford Golf Club and Walcott Rugby Club and Bath RFC down at Lambridge on London Road, and set up the first female and male mixed ability rugby teams in the Southwest. The next stage of the kind of that development, so once you've kind of done that engagement and those early kind of points in primary schools, we move on to kind of the life skills and the social and emotional side of things. And we've kind of got 2 stages in that. And that is through Raising the Game, which is around growth mindset. And this is really targeted for young people who find sitting down or being in a classroom quite tricky, finding social situations hard to manage. And we've been working within primary schools and secondary schools, building those relationships and being working with the teachers to kind of ensure that the young people have got the skills to kind of stay in that classroom and be confident in that space. And we've seen a 27% average reduction in behaviour incidents in some of those pupils over the first years of delivering those. The next project I want to talk about was HITS, and that's based down at the Rec, Bath Rugby Stadium, and it's our alternative learning centre. We've got a couple of classrooms here, and we work with young people aged 16 to 19 or 16 to 24 if they've got an educational healthcare plan. And we work around kind of those same things around building confidence and then through that skill development. So they might have been disengaged in school previously, or finding or unsure of their next steps. And we use those kind of opportunities to kind of develop those life skills and then into qualifications like English and maths, or vocational qualifications. And then we utilise our network of businesses across the city to provide work experience It's kind of like a step before kind of an apprenticeship, I suppose, in that they can kind of build that confidence and kind of reassurance in those safe spaces in some businesses around them, preparing to kind of get in. HITS is our alternative learning centre. And then we utilise the relationships in the city to kind of build that work experience and safe spaces and role models actually within the community for the young people. Good job, you can see my screen now, so you can read this. A quote from a teacher at St Michael's School after working with their class this year. And then the final stage that we have is around family support. Being able to kind of build on those relationships and the holistic kind of opportunities to have those conversations with the child and the parents and the guardians. And one of the projects that we're quite proud of is, and we worked with Sam at Youthconnect Southwest and many other partners across Bath and North East Somerset on the Breakout programme, funded through the Department for Education, through Baines, and HAF provides activities and free and meals for children aged 5 to 16 who are eligible and receive benefits related to free school meals. This provision is delivered across Easter, summer and Christmas, and we've split that out across junior, family and teen with SEND hubs as well. So been able to provide opportunities that are age appropriate and geared at the right level for those young people. And we've got hubs across Bath and North East Somerset, and then specifically across the city in Odd Down, down at the Wreck, Fox Hill, Snow Hill. Over the last year and being able to work with all our partners, we worked with just underneath 2,000 children, and 80% of them were eligible for free school meals, and that equated to 7,000 meals over the school holidays. If you do want to find out a little bit more about us, then there's opportunities, obviously on social media, on our website, or through our newsletter for kind of monthly updates. Apologies, you couldn't see my presentation at the start.
Thank you very much, Carol. I'm sure Mark will be able to do some sort of special wizardry and pull them together for the YouTube, you know, so that people can watch it as it ought to have been. My apologies as well that I didn't pick that up either. I was actually quite gripped by the way that you were telling it, so I didn't read the slides anyway. Can I just ask if anybody has any questions for Carol? And we have Keris Humphreys.
Yes, thank you, Dina. Yeah, you mentioned that that you have a couple of sports, golf and rugby, and I just wondered if you were at any point intending to sort of diversify into sports that were a bit more inclusive and were likely to attract a wider range of sort of children's interests, bearing in mind that obviously golf and rugby are sports which are if you like tend to be a minority sports, whereas for example girls at school, whereas they might be quite some of them might be interested in playing rugby, but obviously there's they tend to prefer to play other sports. I'm not saying of course they shouldn't be able to play rugby, but it's just that it's quite a sort of in terms of D&I, it seems quite a narrow sort of male selection of and socially selective exclusive selection of sports.
Yeah, so those are just a couple of examples of clubs that we have, and those high five clubs that we have there are specifically for young people with special educational needs. We utilize the power of sport in all shapes and sizes. So we use kind of Paralympic sports like bocce. We use an array of different things. Cycling, we've been up at Odd Down cycling, and we use the adapted wheels for all bikes. So there's a variety of things that we do. We go into secondary schools, and it is all about kind of that growth mindset, so about trying different things. And if what we do is, if we're not delivering that kind of sport or interest that young person is doing, we try and signpost as much as possible. So we utilize like the Live Well Baines website that's got kind of all the community sports clubs out there, so we can be able to have those conversations. So it's like the relationship building to start off with, to be able to kind of get them across to what they're interested in.
Okay, thank you. Does that answer your question, Caris?
Well, yes, I suppose so, but one wonders, for example, why you don't sort of provide football. And for example, I've never seen football being played on the rec next to the rugby stadium, which it seems a bit sad, really, because obviously when it comes to sort of popularity of sports, then the sport that young kids really want to play, and quite often that's girls as well as boys, is football.
Yeah, so as part of our HITS, our classroom that's down at the rec, they play football quite regularly. It's requested quite a lot. And as well as that, in our breakout hubs, we have kind of Bath City football that come and do the football clubs. We've got Somerset cricket that comes through. We've got gymnastics coaches. We've got, this is just a snapshot of kind of some of our work that we do, I suppose. And but yeah, welcome to, if you want to get in touch, and if you've got a young person who's specifically interested in something, then we might be able to work out something for them.
Thank you. I think that's a really great offer, and I'm sure, Caris, if you've got people, you will put them in touch with Carol, and that can be taken forward. So any more questions? We have to make sure that I'm checking the chat as well as the list of participants to see, make sure I don't miss anybody. Okay, I think you have answered every point with your presentation, and as I said, I hope that Mark will be able to match up your slides to your words, and that will be a little bit more seamless on our YouTube channel. So thank you again, and thank you to all of your team too for everything that they've done. Okay, that's fantastic. Right, now we're moving on to Liz Bryan, who is the service manager for Project 28 and also Motive 8. So Liz, I think you are going to do a presentation. Should I just double check before you start? Do you have slides? And if they don't come up, should I say something?
Thank you. Yes, please do, Tina.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Slides, and I'm going to attempt to share my screen. So,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Can
Hello?
I ask?
Sorry, who's speaking?
Chelsea.
Oh, Chelsea.
Sorry.
Hello.
Sorry, I just want to quickly ask. I was sent this link yesterday by someone, and I don't know if I'm the right age to be here or what's going on. So apologies.
No, that's lovely, Chelsea, and it's really, and welcome to you as well. So this is a meeting where we are just really having a bit of a sort of heads up on what sorts of activities there are that a range of different partners offer for young people. So please feel free to stay and listen.
I'm 27 years old. Am I in the right target age for you guys? Because I feel a bit old.
Well, you don't sound a bit old. Let's see. So Liz, I mean, perhaps you could talk to Chelsea about, you know, how your service might be of interest to her as well.
You. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, Chelsea, I would just sit back and listen and see what you can take from it. I think what listening to Hits and Carly and knowing Sam and Youthconnect, I am amazed at the work we do together in Baines for children. It's incredible added value. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Liz Bryan, and I'm the service manager and I'm going to talk about Project 28 today, which is the Baines Specialist Drug and Alcohol Service. And we're part of Developing Health and Independence, which is a bigger local charity that works with social inclusion. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about the work we've done with serious violence through our detached youth work. So if you can bear with me, can everybody see the screen? Brilliant. So I'm going to talk about what happened during the pandemic and where we are now. So just talk a little bit about what's happened. So taking Project 28 onto the street. And what we did during the pandemic, staff at Project 28 worked so hard to keep all young people in treatment. And with success, we met with them at home or visited them in their gardens, using PPE. We managed to keep all high-risk clients in treatment, and we met with them weekly and reported back to multi-agency teams of social workers and youth offending workers. Schools closed, which meant more vulnerable young people were on the street. We used Zoom, FaceTime and Instagram, and young people enjoyed gathering together with family members to chat. Our digital platform, The Wrap, was developed during 2020 to 2021. It features a website, self-help tool and lesson plans for schools and 6 specially recorded videos. The project was launched in schools in September 2021, and the website has around 300 people using it. This is rising with around 1,200 page views. Instagram allowed us to inform young people where we would be delivering outreach and also let us know if they wanted to meet up. We took young people on bike rides. We developed a graffiti skateboard project, and we collected laptops from schools and we took them to their house. We received money from the Police Crime Commissioning for serious violence to deliver knife crime workshops and outreach in Bath and North East Somerset. We went into partnership with Youthconnect South West to deliver serious violence outreach in Baines. We have no waiting times for treatment. We've got people in instantly, and all exits were planned and well thought out. Now, these are about our knife crime workshops. This work was evolved over time as we have introduced assemblies. This has enabled us to reach larger numbers of young people so we can educate them on the dangers of knife crime. We also teamed up with Holly Simpson, a local PCSO, who was able to deliver important information on the law as well as young people's rights to stop and search. This is just another example of effective joint working. One-to-one support is another area that was evolved from student workshop, as we felt it was important to target the individuals at risk of violence and tailor that support to what was appropriate for them. We have reached a total of 20 clients, some of which were pre-existing Project 28 clients for substance misuse, and some were referred specially for serious violence. We've created a knife crime intervention that can be carried out with any Project 28 client. March 2021, Youthconnect Southwest and Project 28 worked in partnership with funding from the Violence Reduction Unit to tackle serious crime on outreach. What we saw on outreach there were fights, planned and unplanned, unprovoked attacks in Royal Victoria Park and Avon Street Car Park. The teams were able to intervene and stop fights, getting young people to hand over weapons such as knives and baseball bats. We were informed of where hotspots were by local PCSOs and targeted those hotspots. We encouraged them to leave the city centre or go elsewhere. We warned them of antisocial behaviour and repercussions of potential antisocial behaviour, and that the police were confiscating alcohol. We made ourselves known to PCSOs on shifts, and safety messages about staying in well-lit areas, notifying officers of any potential trouble, and notifying the police should a young person approach you as a victim of anything. At one stage, we walked one young girl to the bus stop as she felt so scared, and she was also slightly intoxicated. just want to.
I think outreach is good because it shows that adults are on your side. Knowing they are out in town the same time as you makes everyone feel safe, as we can always go to them if we need to. They help when young people have gotten too drunk, and they always have food and water and are able to call people for help and still keep it confidential. I was able to access Project 28 through meeting staff on outreach, and they were able to refer me. I gained trust when I started seeing them every weekend.
I think it's really influencing and like really relaxing because we have people coming up to us telling us to be careful, stuff like that. Like people care, like because with us when we like do drugs and drink alcohol and stuff, like it's because like we think that no one cares, our depression gets low, and it's just really deep. But then when someone comes up to us and they show that they're caring and meaningful people, it makes us like think that's like good in life. Then we start to like give up all the stuff that we used to do and try to better ourselves as better people.
This is the Graffiti Project. So this is just an example of when we were at Royal Victoria Park, lovely summer months, and the Graffiti Project was about helping young people focus on something quite positive and develop their own skateboards that were quite unique. The Graffiti Project was developed in the summer of 2021 as a lot of young people were gathering in the parks and recreational areas. And with nowhere else to go, we purchased skateboards and paints, and they designed their own unique skateboard. It was great to see them active and working together. We were able to engage them while they were painting their boards, making their designs unique for them.
I did really enjoy the Graffiti Project with Youthconnect and Project 28. I managed to bring some of my friends and we all had a splendid time drawing and painting on blank skateboard decks. I remember my friend using a stencil of a tiger and one of the workers used a stencil of a zebra. Our boards turned out beautiful. Around that time, I wasn't feeling my best, and this event really helped me connect back with my friends, meaning I could talk to them about how I was feeling once again.
So where are we today? We have maintained business as usual with Project 28 remaining open and young people able to pop in for a chat with staff. Some young people find themselves in crisis, homeless, or scared of somebody else. Being able to pop in for a chat means they are not on their own. They know Project 28 staff can support them. We are open for sexual health interventions with Riverside Clinic. They come in once a month to meet with young people for advice and information. October to December 2021 was our quarter two. 30 young people left treatment in a planned and organised way. They had significantly reduced their substance misuse and have made changes to their lifestyles. We currently have 105 young people in treatment. This month, we delivered 35 brief interventions. We are delivering PSHE lessons in classrooms, and we are delivering knife crime sessions in schools. And we also do outreach 4 evenings per week. And that's my presentation. I've left here, this here is a call 01225 483344 and email office@dhiproject28.org.uk. So are there any?
Yeah, thank you, Liz. Yes, are there any questions? So I think I'm going to have a quick look to see whether we've got anybody who wishes to ask you any questions right away. I think actually it was really interesting to see the range of work that you do. I was particularly struck by the Graffiti Project and the work that they've done on the skateboards. It'd be really interesting to see how many of those skateboards are now being used in across the district in our various skateboard parks as well. I don't know if you've got a sort of follow-up project to check that out. And who knows, perhaps these are going to be the next sort of generation of skateboarders who will be inspired from a slightly a different project that didn't necessarily have that in mind. Yeah. Okay, so is there anybody who wants to ask a question or make a comment on what they have seen from Liz. I'm not seeing anybody with their hands up at the moment, Liz, but as everybody else, we will make sure that your details of Project 28 and Motive 8 will be on the presentation when it appears on our YouTube channel. So thank you very much for your presentation and for sharing that with us, and I look forward to hearing an update on the skateboard project. And I'd now like to invite Levi from Boys in Mind to give us a presentation too, please.
Hiya, hi, I'm Levi. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes, thank you, Levi. Now, before I start, have you got slides too?
No, I don't have any slides, I'm afraid. But I do have a video to show in a minute after I'm done talking. I think
that's
Mark
brilliant.
That.
Thanks, Levi.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So hi, I'm Levi Hexton. My pronouns are they, them. I'm an advisor at Boys in Mind. We're an organisation dedicated to preventing suicide, combating stigma, and reshaping the conversation about mental health, especially that conversation for boys and young men. We're a youth-led, solution-focused organisation headed up by some brilliant young people, in particular young men and boys who guide everything we do. Part of our vision, mission and values is helping to adjust the way society sees helping to adjust the way society sees maleness and what makes an ideal man so that we can prevent suicide and create a healthier society for everyone. We focus on positive male role models. All our films and podcasts demonstrate this. See in particular our Men Who Care films and our positive male role models section. We have a website, I'll put that in the chat when I'm done talking here. We're a diverse organisation with a focus on equality. We believe strongly in intersectionality and how aspects of our identity and our culture affect mental health. We listen to all voices because whoever you are, chances are you have a man or a boy in your life you want to see growing and flourishing. We engage children and young people by supporting them to make films, podcasts and blogs on a range of topics related to their mental health and well-being. We have a team of enthusiastic and passionate young people supported by experienced health and educational professionals. And yet we're going to show a film now that we've made that tells you a bit more about what we do. And here in the chat, I'm going to put the link to our website and our contact email.
What we do at Boys in Mind is essentially we are a youth-led organisation aiming to talk amongst ourselves about some of the benefits of communicating and things that we've ourselves have personally been challenged with before, and helping bridge that gap of feeling alone. I mean, ultimately there's a stigma, especially with men and boys, around communication not being a thing. Not being something that we feel comfortable doing, and ultimately at its worst leading to people taking their own lives. So part of the reason we're doing this at Boys in Mind is to remove that stigma that men don't talk and boys don't talk, and ultimately save lives. One of the key factors as to why I'm so passionate about what we do at Boys in Mind is 19 months ago next week I became a father to a young boy called Leo. And the world that he's going to be growing up in, I'd like to be a world where he feels that he can talk and that there's a community around him. And I feel like this is just one step into doing that. So yeah, that's what we do.
I like to be involved through podcasts. I produce a podcast called In Conversation. We cover topics like burnout, LGBT issues, sexism. We've had guests like the motivational speaker Nick Elston and even the Channel 4 comedian Joe Wilkinson. We at Boys in Mind, we do a lot of things. We get involved in assemblies at schools. We do film projects on topics such as racism, the Black Lives Matter movement, LGBT issues, issues relevant to you at school, issues relevant to all young people. And as a youth-led group, we are always looking for getting people involved. We want young people to be directing everything we do.
I've been really lucky to sort of lead on projects and webinars and workshops, as well as just have my voice heard as a young person, and not just heard, but genuinely heard and acted upon, which is not an opportunity that we get often as young people. But I really felt that Boys in Mind gave me that. We really believe that equalities and mental health are really inextricably linked. And so actually, when we're having this dialogue around mental health, it's important that we're including everybody in that conversation. We look at just the fact that people who are more marginalised are more disproportionately likely to suffer from mental health problems. And so that really just paints a picture of why we need to make sure that we're including everybody. With that in mind, we then take it back to the focus on boys and young men. So we talk about sexism. So, for example, the Sexism film that came out recently, and we listen to women's experiences of sexism, but then we take it back to what men can do to be a better ally, what men can do to be a feminist, and really what men can do to use their inherent privilege to elevate the voices of women.
As mental health ambassador at the school, what we wanted to do at first was kind of just normalise the conversation around mental health. And it has evolved to something much bigger than that. But youth advisors for Boys in Mind, that's only something we've acquired recently. Mm-hmm. Before that, we were kind of just linking our schoolwork with the work that Boys in Mind do.
Yeah, I think now we've got a lot more independence. Boys in Mind is a great organisation. Everyone has a say and everyone's opinion is taken on board. I think also having students support other students is a lot more relatable and accessible, because obviously there's a lot more of us than there is teachers and professionals. So it's definitely clear that we've made an impact on people, because we've had multiple people come up to us and say thank you for the work that you're doing.
Make sure you're there for each other as well.
Yeah.
It's nice to have someone you can go talk to and someone that can directly relate to what you're doing.
I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we've done in Ralph Allen to support mental health, whether that was for the students or the staff. So I worked very closely with Evie and Fede. We had a system where students in year 13 and year 12 would become mental health ambassadors and would therefore really help students in younger years. So the way we've done that is by making sure they were identified by younger years, and we had really nice badges like this that they could wear, which means that younger years could look at them and think, okay, I'm a little bit struggling at the moment, I'm feeling a bit anxious, I'm feeling a bit low. I can go and talk to those role model sixth formers and let them know how I feel. The sixth formers would then be able to pass on to staff whether they felt that those students needed professional help or just a general chat with a teacher. And we felt that it was important for students to know that they can go to staff if they feel they need help, but that they can also find this help and this support with their peers. And that's what we want Ralph Allen to be about, to be a supporting community.
So to summarise our top tips, take the initiative.
Communicate with each other.
Be patient with each other.
Make sure you're speaking to the teachers regularly.
And just don't give up.
Yeah, have fun with it.
Yeah, just keep going forward, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So thanks for listening and watching, guys. I just want to say thanks for having us on, and it's been wonderful to hear about some of the amazing work that's going on in our community. I think it's really important. One of our messages at Boys in Mind is about sharing with the community. You know, they are your greatest support network, and that is one of the best tools in combating poor mental health, is, you know, having a robust support network. So it's amazing to hear that there are these great initiatives going on. And yeah, if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Levi. That was really, really interesting. So Chelsea, I see your hand is up.
Yeah. You said about what was it? With peer support and everyone getting involved, how do you get girls to understand men's mental health? That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a really good question, because obviously we are a organisation focused on issues that face boys and young men, but we are also obviously really interested in the views of women and people of all genders and all marginalised groups, and sort of understanding the different perspectives that people have on life, whether it's because of their gender or their background, is quite a challenge. You know, that's a challenge in all walks of life, but especially in mental health, if you ask me. And I think the best thing is to sort of open up conversations. You know, when I say we're youth-led, we want young people, and especially young men, leading what we do. And in that way, they can show and sort of speak about how they feel and sort of promote that kind of empathy that lets us connect. And when we have boys and women and girls and, you know, all sorts of people all having this conversation, it can help us bolster the sort of empathy that lets us understand each other's different perspectives.
Thank you, Levi. I'm going to bring in Caris as well, who I think wants to ask a question too. Caris.
Hi, well, yeah, first, Levi, I just really wanted to congratulate you and your organisation on the fantastic work that you've done. I've seen a few of the films made by your young people, and they're absolutely brilliant. And absolutely everybody who lives in Bath should see the Black Lives Matter film, which was a real eye-opener for those of us who don't have, you know, that experience. So congratulations on that. And my question was really sort of for parents. How do people access your service if they've got, because obviously if you have a child who is in a difficult position, it can be very sensitive. So how do people go about accessing your service? So
what we are is generally we provide support to we are not a direct service ourselves. We don't do sit down sessions with young people directly for support, but we support the organizations that do. You know, we work closely with organizations like Mind and Off the Record. And if you go to our website, we have a lot of resources signposted there, and it's a good place to look for look for the networks that you want to connect with. If you've got someone who you want to take care of, sort of our website might be a good place for resources, information, and then we have videos about, you know, sort of perspectives that might help you understand what that person's going through.
Okay. Thank you, Levi. I'm not seeing any more questions that have come up, but obviously just sort of building on that and also referring back to the answer you gave on the range of films that you have on your website. If people are interested in learning more about the work that Boys in Mind and Girls Mind too do, then please have a look on the website. We'll put a link to that website on this event at the end as well. And I would also like to add my congratulations for all the work that you do, particularly around those films. You know, having taken part in a variety of webinars over the last year, you know, the work and the films that you do have really highlighted, you know, some of those quite difficult subjects, and from a young person's perspective, and I think really brought it to light and to life as well, particularly around mental health and Black Lives Matter too.
Thank you very much. I will pass that along to our team, to our amazing team. Thank you.
Well, thank you to them, and particularly everybody that's worked so hard on those films as well, because obviously I know there's a lot of background stuff that goes on there. Okay, right, we're now coming to, I think, Levi, you were our last presenter. So I'm just going to quickly open the floor up in case there's anybody else who wants to speak and perhaps refer back to any of the other speakers. I see Chelsea has just put a comment in the chat. Okay, thank you, Chelsea. It's really good to understand where you're speaking from. So Chelsea is a member of the Dimensions Council and a Learning Disability England spokesperson. So it's been lovely to have you with us, Chelsea. And I'm sure if any of our speakers that have presented want to get in touch with you, can you perhaps forward your details on to us, and we can share that with those if you would wish that to happen. Okay, Sandal. Thank you. Oh, and Chelsea is the vice chair, actually, so that's fantastic. Thank you again.
Yeah, I'm the vice chair of the Dimensions Council, and I'm very proud of that role.
No, that's fantastic. And as I said, it's a real delight that you're here, and I hope you've been able to take something away from this. And I'm sure, as I said, our various presenters will want to get in touch with you, but obviously that's down to you to share that information with them. Is there anybody else then who wants to raise anything at all? Otherwise, I will say thank you to everybody. I mean, it has been really interesting to hear of the work that you do. I'm well aware that it's not everything that happens for young people in our area, but it's good to get, you know, some sort of insight. And, you know, I'm really glad that you took the opportunity to showcase the work that you do at this forum. So I'm now going to hand back to Dave Dixon, who is, I think, going to wrap. Well, he's not going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up, but he's going to say something. So over to you, Dave.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Romero. Just a little plug, 2 minutes, about looking forward to 2022 and beyond. One of the things that we need to do is identify some priorities for the forums, all of the forums, and particularly the Bath Area Forum, as we set out our programme of activity. So we would welcome any feedback or suggestions on topics that you would like the forum to discuss, because we are conscious that we don't want to be seen to be bringing everything to you from above. We would like some of the stuff to come up from the grassroots and from the communities. So we'd like to hear more about your own organisation's priorities and ambitions, whether you're representing local business, a council ward, or a voluntary community organisation, or if you're one of our residents or one of our residents' associations. Any ideas or suggestions that we can take forward would be very welcome. So having a better understanding of our community's needs and aspirations will hopefully assist us in working together to achieve some of the collective change that we are going to need to look at in the forthcoming years. So I think Mark's just put the link in the chat page there. So any thoughts, ideas or suggestions you've got, if you can send them to the connecting_communities@bathnest.gov.uk email address, and the link is in the chat, that would be lovely, and we can pick that up and we can get in touch with you to try and explore some of those additional priorities. One of the things that the council has begun to do is to restructure its place-based teams, which include planning, transport, housing, sustainability. And the aim of that is to try and improve the coordination of activities so that projects and programmes, resources and budgets are better aligned, and we can deliver more effectively on the priorities for our local communities. And so over the coming year, the council will be seeking support from the Bath Area Forum and the other forums in providing local knowledge to inform those place-based plans. You, as the local people in local areas, are best placed to identify what you think some of the issues are and the detail in some of those issues. And hopefully you'll be able to participate in some of the consultations that we're going to be running. Now, further details will be shared with you all and everybody in the forums when they're available to us. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you, Dina. So if I can hand back to you, that would be lovely.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think, well, hopefully I don't just speak for myself. Hopefully I speak for everybody who is on this call, that it has been really interesting to see some of the work that a range of agencies do in and around Bath. I think if you are interested in learning more or getting involved, then please take the opportunity to pick up the details from those different agencies. They will be part of the sort of narrative that will go alongside the YouTube channel recording, which will be on our channel shortly. And so there's not much more for me to do apart from to thank once again all of our presenters for sharing an insight into the valuable work that they do across our city and beyond. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who has attended, and just remind all that there will be a recording of this evening's forum available on the council's YouTube channel. So just like to say good night to everybody.